All right. Hello, good evening, and welcome to NSG News here in our luxurious studios here at Accra, Ghana. I'm here in a Adenta part of this republic. My name is Kofi Asante Mensah, and this is Pulse of the Week, the Friday edition, and this is 26th of September 2025. We are streaming live on all our social media handles, especially on YouTube at NSG News TV. Welcome to the program. In a breather, I'll be sharing with you major stories, headlines in our country, Ghana, and also settle down for detailed analysis of the subjects for discussion this evening. Please join me, share your comment with me, like our page, and also share it with the rest of the world. Please do share your comment with me. I'm so happy you've joined me here on NSG News TV. And this is Pulse of the Week. Welcome. All right, so welcome back. It's still a pleasure to have you join me here on NSG News, and this is Pulse of the Week with your man Kofi Asante Mensah. A big thank you to all our crew members for making this happen. We are streaming live on YouTube, and it is NSG News TV. Welcome once again. We begin with some tussle or some misunderstanding between the NLA and the Fourth Estate, a media organization, and the former DG or Director General for the National Lottery Authority. And I can promise you, on Wednesday, the midweek edition of Pulse of the Week, I will be bringing you details of what the scandal is at the NLA with respect to Sami Ewuku and what have you. But in the meantime, the GBA monopoly debate is still on. Chief Justice nominee urges the Ghana Law Society to seek licensing from the General Legal Council. All right, so I'll be showing you that video very soon.
Tariwaja and the Attorney General. The courts have always insisted that practicing lawyers must be in good standing. And as far as good standing is concerned, to us, it means you must have a certificate from the GLC. So in your speech, Council, you said that you are going to make representation to the GLC for recognition and then licensing. Yes, I think it will be in the right or a direction, that because all that we are interested in at the GLC is that you possess our license.
All right, so that is the Chief Justice nominee talking to the Ghana Law Society, who paid a courtesy call on him sometime yesterday. And let me remind you, there's a new poll by the Global Info Analytics, and Mr. Musa Dankwa will be joining me exactly at 6:30 to have an extensive discussion on this very subject. Okay. All right. So Mr. Musa Dankwa want to join us without camera, and we are ready for that. So just exactly at 6:30, we would have Mr. Musa Dankwa join us for that very discussion. Let's move on and do some more stories, because we have some more stories to share with you. And don't forget, this is the very week His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama visited the United Nations and made some historic remarks, and I will have to share some videos with you on that very incident. But let's move on to some free SHS stories, because challenges with the placement or SHS placement is not far from going, because Parents are complaining, money extortions here and there. The Vice President, Professor Jane Nana Opoku-Agyeman, has also added her voice to this very issue, asking that issues relating to placement, SHS placement, be addressed politely.
Let us learn to work together. There's so much talent in almost every agency that we can learn from, we can share. And I want to urge all of us that we learn from each other, we share our expertise, and that will the results are positive for all of us, and that's what matters most. I know you are doing school placement, and you have all kinds of people besieging, if not your offices, your homes, your phones, and all of them. What can we do? Let's just try very politely to explain the situation. What we try to do is to create more A schools with the E-blocks. And that's one of my to implement all of it. To run the whole system to demonstrate that yes, more A schools. And it doesn't matter whether they are boarding or D, but the rest they say is history. Let us learn to work together. There's so much talent in almost every agency that we can learn from, we can share. And I want to urge all of us that we learn from each other, we share our expertise, and that will the results are positive for all of us, and that's what matters most. I know you are doing school placement, and you have all kinds of people besieging, if not your offices, your homes, your phones, and all of them. What can we do? Let's just try very politely to explain the situation. What we try to do is to create more A schools with the E-blocks. And that's one of my to implement all of it. To run the whole system to demonstrate that yes, more A schools. And it doesn't matter whether they are boarding or D, but the rest they say is history. From who we are, and with everybody's support, we'll do the best we can. Thank you all very much.
All right, so that's Professor Jane Nana Opoku-Agyeman, the Vice President of the Republic of Ghana, addressing some few issues with respect to the computer placement system, selection placement system, and the Education Minister, Honorable Haruna Iddrisu, also veered off a little bit and spoke about some political support for Professor Jane Nana Opoku-Agyeman.
It is my prayer that God will give you long life and good health, that probably you will be elevated to become the first female president. I've been in cabinet with you, at least the first session of the cabinet and the second session of the cabinet. And I can say without fear of contradiction that you remain an unquestioned champion of education and gender rights and gender interests and inclusiveness generally in the pursuit of government policy.
Right, so that there, Haruna Iddrisu, I'll ask the Global Info Analytic gentleman when he comes on Zoom this evening about this political support. Haruna Iddrisu, who has been ticked by Global Info Analytics to be leading the jostling for the flag bearership for the NDC party. He seems to have thrown his support for Professor Jane Nana Opoku-Agyeman, the Vice President. So then we'll see how things will go. People are really pushing for the flag bearership slot. But this evening, let's do some more stories on Galamsey fight, because the small-scale miners reject calls for a state of emergency. They say no, lie. All right, so I'll be showing you that video pretty shortly.
The National Small-Scale Miners Association has unveiled a task force with the aim of complementing the government's existing anti-galamsey interventions. President of the association, Michael Kujopepra, says the task force is to complement existing government efforts in tackling illegal mining.
The task force are members of our association, and they are, we have mandated them to go on the various water bodies to make sure that any person who is found on the water bodies mining with impunity will be cleared from these various places. More so, when the media is talking about illegal mining, they box small-scale miners and illegal miners. One, there's a distinction between anybody who is engaging in illegal mining and somebody who has acquired a license to mine. The methodologies are different in the sense that somebody who is mining on the belly of a river has never been licensed to mine. So we are going to inaugurate this task force to make sure that anybody who is on this water body is being cleared off.
Michael Pepra says the task force will work closely with state institutions to monitor mining activities, sensitize communities, and promote responsible small-scale mining practices.
We are in the communities and we know where these people are. And in so doing, the task force will work with the media so that people would understand the need to make sure that the people who are on the various water bodies are being cleared off. Because when the pressure comes, people always box small-scale miners and illegal miners. And that is what we want to let the country and guests to know, that small-scale miners are Ghanaians who have acquired their license and they are mining in the frame of the law. So anybody who is being seen mining with impunity and destroying our various water bodies, this task force is mandated to make sure these people are cleared off.
Meanwhile, the debate on the declaration of a state of emergency on galamsey operations has intensified in recent weeks as CSOs sound the alarm at the destruction of forests, rivers and farmlands. The small-scale miners group, however, emphasized that a state of emergency could lead to heightened security crackdowns without addressing the root causes of illegal mining, such as unemployment and weak enforcement of mining regulations. According to them, such measures risk stifling legitimate small-scale mining operations and derailing progress made in the sector.
We don't support the state of emergency in the sense that it's a lazy man's approach. In 2017-2019, the previous government initiated a partial state of emergency. That is the time Ghana became the leading producer of gold, and that is the time people were in the forest reserve mining with impunity. At the end of the day, the military that were sent to go and help in salvage the issue were accomplices in that situation. Ghana is not in a dire situation, and as a matter of fact, these things can be resolved. One, by using the peer review system. Small-scale miners are going to be the watchdogs in the various communities, and by using the bottom-up approach, we can at least make a better impact in this galamsey problem.
For Joy News, Nana Boache Danko Yadom, Kumasi.
All right, so saying a very big thank you to Joy News for that very update. And this is NSG News here on YouTube. We are streaming live. My name is Kofi Asante-Mensah, and this is Pulse of the Week. And here we analyze, break down the issues, and come to you with much information with respect to what is happening in our country. I mean, the very major stories, and we'll break them down for you with our experts. And we have the former Vice President and also former flag bearer for the opposition New Patriotic Party, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, who is claiming that the current President John Dramani Mahama lied through his teeth with respect to the COVID-19 impact and the Russia-Ukraine war impact on Ghana.
Na niema buo akosoro pa. From 2022, COVID impacts no ebaye no. Ukraine war and COVID. Ema niema buo ekosoro. 2024 election. Mungina mo kai se na ye kase abdia esi ye no. Na niema buo ekosoro Ghana henyina. Eye COVID na ɛbaeɛ a ɛma nipa nneɛma boɔ ɛkɔɔ soro ɛne Russia Ukraine war. Yɛkaa saa deɛ no ɔmampanyin Mahama ne NDC ɔmo kaa sɛ yɛtwa ntorɔ ɔmo se COVID nsa nnimu at all ɛnyɛ saa na ɔmo kaeɛ ɔmo se ɛyɛ economic mismanagement ɛnyɛ saa na ɔmo kaeɛ ɛsɛ COVID ɛnyɛ a factor me te sɛ me kan sɛ I think ɛyɛ nnura ɛna ɔmampanyin ɛkɔɔ New York ɛna ɔmo ɔkɔkaa sɛ Africa nyinaa nneɛma boɔ ɛkɔɔ soro because of COVID. Sɛ moate ɔse COVID ne nti ɛna nneɛma boɔ ɛkɔɔ soro ɔse a lot of your effort a yɛyɛ reduce poverty over 10 years or 20 years COVID no ɛde saa effort ne nyinaa aba form in just 2 years. Saa na ɔkae enti asa onim saa but wanka election no ɛnyɛ saa onim ne korɛ no ba wanka yɛn yɛhu problem no ɔmo ehu problem no enti nyame adom obiara bɛhu beebi a ne korɛ no da enti 2028 yɛn sesan yɛ adwen yɛmfa ɛmma Dr. Bawumia ɛne MPP na yɛmfa economic management no ɛnkɔ so because we got it right.
All right, so that is Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia still campaigning, and I understand Dr. Educhum is also in the Ashanti region. He has launched what he calls the Hope Campaign. Kennedy Japon, where are you? And Dr. Brian, where are all of you? All right, but it's good. All right, let's talk about ECG because ECG insists proposed tariff hike may not necessarily increase consumer bills.
Big topical issue. I would like one of my directors give us a small presentation on it. But before he comes, I want to say that ECG has asked for a certain percentage increase in the distribution service charge, not in how much customers will pay us. And so ECG is not asking that customers' tariff should be increased by 220%. Absolutely not. And what we are asking for can even be done without any corresponding in the end user tariff. We are.
Can you repeat that? Please capture it. Can you replace the mic for us?
Okay, so let me repeat that. So the current end user tariff, we see a distortion. The distribution service charge, in other words, the component of the tariff that ECG comes to ECG, is only right now 12%. And it should be around 40%. So the tariff is heavily distorted against distribution. And we are appealing to the PURC to correct that distortion. So the distribution service charge can't go up without necessarily increasing the end user tariff. But my colleagues will do a presentation on that.
All right, so that's the ECG. Of course, they are saying those missing, if you like, containers, they have found them. So that's very, very key, and that's why you have it there as part of our subtitle over there. And we will do our very final story, then we'll settle down for some discussion here on NSG News Pulse of the Week. And with yours truly, Kofi Asante Mensah, and we are streaming live on YouTube, and the channel's name is NSG News TV. Please type NSG News TV and you will have us to watch live because we are streaming right now. Apostle Tete Ofe says Ghana cannot continue to rely on political party manifestos to rebuild the nation. He happens to be the Vice Chancellor for Gold Coast University, and he made these remarks at an event.
Chancellor of the Gold Coast University, Bishop Dr. Gideon Tete Ofe, is calling for bold reforms in the country's governance and education systems, warning that the nation cannot continue to rely on party manifestos in place of a unified national development agenda. Speaking at the Executive at 40 conclave, he describes Ghana's infrastructure system as broken and stressed the urgent need to raise leaders capable of rebuilding the nation.
We have to redefine leadership. Currently, we look at leadership as position that brings us possession and that makes us powerful. So for many people in Ghana, leadership is position, possession, and power. But we have to redefine leadership to service, sincerity, and sacrifice. If this nation will go anywhere, we are looking for leaders who are willing to serve, leaders who are sincere, and leaders who are willing to sacrifice for the future of this country. And we came to meet a country that was prosperous. Growing up, we had trains. My father used to travel on trains to Accra and back to Kumasi. We don't have all those things. Again, the infrastructure of this country is down. We need new breed of leaders who will sacrifice for the next generation of this country.
He also called for a comprehensive reform into the educational sector, emphasizing the need to prepare young people as nation builders rather than producing graduates who merely pursue courses for the sake of certification.
So majority of the people in this country, our population is the youth. So that is a huge potential for this country to harness, develop, and deploy. And this we can do through our educational system. We need to develop courses that help unearth the leadership potential of the young people that we have as a country. We are blessed to have very young people who are intelligent, young people who are ambitious. All they are looking for is for us to create the opportunities for them to be able to develop their potentials and to be able to live to their full potential. And this we can do through the kind of courses that we run in our universities. And that's why I think that University of Gold Coast is a blessing to this country, because we are responding to the need to not just manage potential, not just manage performance, but discover, develop, and deploy the potentials of the next generation.
The Executive at 40.
All right, so you had there Apostle Tete Ofe, Gideon Tete Ofe, Vice Chancellor for the Gold Coast University. It's still Pulse of the Week with your man, Kofi Asante Mensah. And this is NSG News Channel TV. Please, we are streaming live on YouTube. Join us over there and leave some few comments, and we'll be glad to read them and share it with the rest of the world. It's Friday evening, the 26th day of September 2025. We are going for a quick break, and when I return, the man of the moment, Musa Dankwa, will join me for a brief discussion. Please stay.
Get used to it. I have stepped into my new beginning. Yesterday is gone. Yesterday of darkness is gone. A whole new beginning. Yeah, 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 yeah. Get used to it. I've stepped into my new level. See me watching me fly on eagle's wing. A whole new beginning. My new beginning. Yesterday is gone. Yesterday of darkness is gone. A whole new beginning. Yeah, 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 yeah. Get used to it. I've stepped into my new level. See me watching me fly on eagle's wing. A whole new beginning.
All right, so welcome back. It's still Pulse of the Week with your man Kofi Asante Mensah, and this is NSG News, and our channel's name on YouTube is NSG News TV. Please, we are streaming. Join us right now. Share our link, and we'll be glad you did that. Time to talk to the Executive Director for Global Info Analytics. In pretty shortly, we'll be talking to Mr. Musa Dankwa, because he's brought up a latest survey indicating the approval rate of John Dramani Mahama dwindling, taking some nosedive and going down. We'll be understanding from him the reasons behind all of this, and do some few comparison, because the last time they did the same approval rating was around June or July, if my memory serves me right. He was around 70 something. I'll check for you. Now he's around 60 something. I would also check that for you. But the main man who did this very survey or research would be joining us pretty shortly to share details of this with us here on NSG News. But before he comes online, this is what we've been digging, and let's check this out. If the production can help us, they would put up this flyer to suggest to you what Musa Dankwa has been finding out. And the flyer is right here. It says in July, right there. Okay. All right, so in July, somewhere in July, Mr. John Dramani Mr. Musa Dankwa is on now. I hear from my production team. Mr. Musa Dankwa, good evening and welcome to the program. Hello, Mr. Musa Dankwa, you have to unmute for me. All right, getting Mr. Musa Dankwa right so we can hear his voice here on Pulse of the Week on NSG News with your man Kofi Asante Mensah. So the opinion poll is right here. I think in July 2025, he had some 71%, and this time around he has gone to some 66%, if the data I have with me is correct. But the man who did this very survey is pretty soon joining us to share details with us. Mr. Musa Dankwa, if you are on, good evening and welcome to the program. All right, so we'll get Mr. Musa Dankwa on this. But the fact is, what is accounting for the drop of the approval rate of John Dramani Mahama? I accept that we have over 60%. That is a remarkable percentage, far above good or excellent. Not average, it's far above average. Yes, so if somewhere 60 and up or 60 plus is quite a good mark. But if some approve of John Dramani Mahama around 70% thereabout in July, and just a few months he declines to 60 thereabout, what is accounting for this? Well, Mr. Musa Dankwa is on, and we would get details from Mr. Musa Dankwa. Mr. Musa Dankwa, it's a Friday evening. We don't intend to take a lot of your time. Please welcome to the program, Mr. Musa Dankwa. All right, so it looks like Mr. Musa Dankwa is having some few challenges, and he will be joining me pretty shortly, and we would have this very discussion. Nonetheless, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama was all the way in the UK addressing the 80th anniversary of the UN General Assembly, and he made some profound statements, some historic statements, and I have all those details here for you. As we await Mr. Musa Dankwa, I would love to share some of them with you, because he mentioned over there the performance of the Ghanaian cedi and what some institution called junk economy has been approved, and its credit rating has gone up. And John Mahama touted the positives of the Ghana cedi over there at the UN General Assembly. He also spoke about reasons why the UN itself, after 80 years of its existence, needs a reset of its own. Yes, he is resetting Ghana, at least according to John Dramani Mahama and the NDC. They are resetting Ghana, and the UN, the United Nations General Assembly, also needs a reset of a sort. So the reset agenda was taken to the United Nations. He also spoke about climate change, indicating to the fact that the world is losing the fight against climate change. Right, Mr. Musa Dankwa is on. All right, I think we can take a look at what John Dramani Mahama said over there at the
Mr. Secretary General, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. At this 80th session of the United Nations General Assembly, I'd like to speak about Africa's role in the future of this organization. However, it's impossible to do that without first considering the collective role that Africa played in its founding, which was small and relatively insignificant. Of the 51 member states involved in the founding of the United Nations in 1945, only 4 were African: Egypt, Ethiopia, Liberia, and South Africa. It is important to point out that the United Nations came into being in the aftermath of World War II because of the inability of its predecessor, the League of Nations, to avert a large-scale global conflict, which had been its guiding purpose when it was founded in 1920 at the end of the First World War. Out of the 42 founding member states of the League of Nations, only 3 were African: Liberia, the Union of South Africa, and Ethiopia. Egypt was to join later in 1937. Africa's overall participation in the organization's founding was minimal and relatively unimportant. That's because before all the other talks and meetings, representatives from a group of 14 nations gathered in Berlin for a series of discussions that began in 1884 and which led to the partitioning and formal colonization of the African continent, which is also called the Scramble for Africa. It has famously been written that past is prologue. Well, in the past, the majority of the 54 nations that now comprise Africa were never offered a seat at the table where plans for a new world order were being drawn. But, Madam President, as fate would have it, the tables are turning, and Africa's role in the authorship of whatever is yet to come for this world is going to be huge, and it will be consequential. According to this organization's own projections, by the year 2050, more than 25% of the world's population is expected to come from the African continent. Additionally, by 2050, 1/3 of all young people aged between 15 to 24 will be residing on the African continent. So you see, the future of this world is African. Allow me to say this once again a little louder for those of you in the back. The future is African. Already today, Africa is a catalyst for human potential and development, as well as for economic reform and ecological stability.
All right, so that's His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama over there, and that's quite profound. But we would have a lot to listen to with respect to John Dramani Mahama this evening. But in the same vein, let's have some time to talk to Mr. Musa Dankwa this evening on his latest polls. Okay, Mr. Musa Dankwa, I believe we have been able to solve this now, and I pray I can hear you this evening. Mr. Musa Dankwa, good evening. Unfortunately, I can't hear you. Wow. I don't know if you have muted already.
No, I have muted.
Oh, yes, I can hear you now. I can hear you now.
Okay. Good evening to
you. Grateful. Good evening, sir. I hope you're doing well, sir.
I'm doing very great. Thank you.
Right. Now let's get into it and find out what informed the, if you like, the drop of approval rate for President John Dramani Mahama. What really informed it? Take us through it one after the other, please.
All right. Thank you very much for having me on this topic. There are few leads that we can use to conclude why his numbers dropped. First, if you look at the proportion of people who said Ghana is headed in the right direction, it has declined compared to last period, down about 5 points. And generally, when people are not happy with certain situations around the country, either from your actions or inactions, they react. So the first signal came from the people who are saying that the country is in the right direction. That number has dropped, even though it's still in the high 60s. Unfortunately, that have affected Bahama's performance in the sense that we also saw additional evidence in the data. Among those who said the government is performing well, those who said very good or good has declined by, I think, 5% or so compared to the last period. And then you look at people who say that the government is doing enough in fighting corruption. That has declined as well. Now, these can be linked to a number of factors. One, people are a bit impatient about the progress being made in terms of the oral, the arrest, prosecution of people who may have been involved in acts that are unlawful, who may have taken money that belongs to the state. People have not seen a lot happening in that front, and they are getting a bit impatient. So that is one of the reasons why we are seeing that. And then secondly, the issue of Galamsey has been heightened in recent times, and that has really affected John Mahama's standing in the public, because if you listen to the rhetoric that they were making in the opposition, it seems to have changed slightly or significantly around this time. People are not happy with what they are seeing in the fight against Galamsey. And then you see a small slide in the value of the cedi in the last month. And that may have also made people a bit jittery in terms of the outlook for this country. So all these factors have accounted for the decline in John Mahama's performance.
That's quite amazing. It simply means the honeymoon is over.
You can't say so until you have a trend. Usually, if something happens for the first time, a decline for the first time, it's not a trend. Second time isn't a trend. But if it happens 3 consecutive times, then you can say that certainly it is over.
So this is the very first time. So we can't make those conclusions.
Absolutely. Even though he has declined, it is still above his first poll that was taken in April, which was around 66%. Now it's around 67%. So it's still a point higher than where he was in April.
But in July, he was around 70 something, right?
Yes, 73%. And now 67, a decline of 6%.
Wow.
It's quite steep. It is quite steep.
Right. If you happen to advise His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, what would you tell him on a one-on-one basis? Or if you have to talk to somebody powerful who can talk to John Mahama, what would you tell me based on this survey or these polls?
Look, I don't advise politicians. They have their own advisors. But what I will tell him is that look at the data. Look at the data. And possibly if they could do their own extensive survey about Galamsey, about this oral issue, that would be very helpful for them to understand the scale of people's anger and anxiety.
Now, take me through the exact questionnaire this very September you encountered, and how many respondents and the questionnaire exactly, because I want to understand some few things. Take me through the questionnaire.
No, there are a series of questions, plenty of questions. In fact, more than 50 questions we asked people.
Wow.
So I'll not be able to go through all the questionnaire here, but what you see is the first part of it. But we engaged close to 9,500 Ghanaians across 83 constituencies in all the 16 regions this time around. The sampling approach was random sampling, and then also some part of it were done by telephone. About 2,000 were done by telephone, and 7,500 face-to-face.
Wow.
But usually there are certain questions that we keep asking all the time. What do you think about the direction of the country? Do you approve or disapprove the performance of the president? What about the government as a whole? What is the economic condition compared to last year? And then also we ask them whether they are optimistic things will improve in the next 12 months. These are the kind of things we ask all the time, but then we throw in new things that are emerging. And also we did what we call the MPP NDC primaries. That portion of the report will be out next week, Monday.
Wow, you did something on the New Patriotic Party primaries?
Yes, and then the NDC as well.
Oh, and the NDC, because I was going to get there. I told my viewers, when you come on the line, I'll be asking you, because Haruna Iddrisu just threw a support for Jenano Opoku-Agyeman, Professor. But before I'll get to that bit, with respect to this approval rate of John Dramani Mahama, when are you heading for another one, in a section of this September approval rating you've done? Would you do some in October next month, or it will take some time?
No, it will be the next 3 months, which will be around December, and then the report will be out in January.
Okay.
We do this every 3 months.
Every 3 months. I pray they take some few advice from this real data you've showed them with the approval rate of John Dramani Mahama across board, across some 83, you say, constituencies, and sampled over 9,500, and some 2,000 on telephone, and some 5,000 or 7,000 on face-to-face basis. Now, let's briefly talk about the NDC and MPP presidential race. Maybe the MPP would begin. We understand on Wednesday, was it Wednesday or Tuesday, they went for vetting. What are you surveying on the ground relating to the MPP primaries?
I mean, we're asking voters who they would like or prefer to lead MPP in the next election. And then if there's no clear winner and there's a runoff between Bawumia and Kennedy, who would they vote for? Basically, these were the two questions regarding the MPP race.
Well, and who would they be voting for per what you've been asking them? Looks like we don't have Mr. Musa Danko currently.
I'm still here.
You're back.
Here. I'm still here. Yes.
All right, I can hear you now. So I was trying to find out what your findings were with respect to between Ken and Bawumia, who they will be voting for per your survey.
I think we'll wait until Monday when the full report will be out so that we can discuss it. At the moment, it's confidential. We have not put it out there yet.
But of course, I know already it's going to be Bawumia, because you've shared this with us before, I think within last month, that everything shows that Bawumia will win.
Yes, in the previous one, Bawumia was leading and then Kennedy. But we have to wait to see what happens in the next one, whether there has been any change at all.
I'll be waiting, and I'm sure by Wednesday we may have it, so we can also have a bite of it here at NSG News. But talk to me also about the NDC primaries. Early on, I was sharing with you that Haruna Iddrisu, whom you marked or tipped to be leading the primaries with Okudzeto Ablakwa, Julius Debra, and the rest, he is throwing his support for Professor Jenano Opoku-Agyeman, indicating that he wishes Professor will become the first female president of this country.
No, I was trying to understand his thought and also the strategy behind what he's saying. From our side, we have taken Professor out of the race for some reasons. One, I think, health grounds, and two, age-wise. I think she'll be around 78 or thereabout in 2028. And if you look at the data we have currently, about 64% of voters. So that is dynamics that will not really work in her favor. And having had a health scare recently, I'll be very, very surprised if she's able to run for the NDC flag bearership.
Wow. So Haruna is already throwing the support, but please share with me on the ground, what are people saying? Because I understand you did both NDC and MPP. On the ground, what are people saying?
You know, the MPP race is quite different from the NDC race. And if you look at what people are saying to us in the NDC race, I mean, nothing has changed significantly compared to what we did last time. Last time, Haruna was leading, and then you have Basiri Nketia to forcing Julius Debra and Ablakwa. Now we have thrown in more candidates in the race, so there's been a slight movement here and there. But wait until Monday to see whether it has shifted significantly or just around the edges.
Wow. Is there Basiri Nketia in the race?
Yes, everybody that you can think of is in the race.
All right. Mr. Musa Dankwa, a pleasure to have you this evening. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much
for your time. Grateful.
Thank you.
So, viewers, that was Mr. Musa Dankwa, Executive Director for Global Info Analytics, and sharing his survey report with us in details, what he has been telling us about the approval rate of John Dramani Mahama, and also some few things has to do with the New Patriotic Party report, and also the NDC. And I think we'll be here by next week, Wednesday. We'll be here to serve you Pulse of the Week, the midweek edition, so we can grab some more details with respect to the primaries, the presidential primaries, I must say, of both sides, NDC and MPP, and we would break it down for your understanding. Thank you very much. Let's go for a breather. When I return, there's more for you. Please stay with me. Hi there, welcome back. It's still Pulse of the Week, and this is the Friday 26th of September 2025 edition, and this is NSG News live on YouTube, and our channel's name is NSG News TV. Please search for us, like our page, and share with your friends. Share on all your social media platforms. If you have something you want us to talk about, investigate, and throw some light on it, please share it with us here on NSG News at our comment section, or you can give us a message. And our channel is NSG News TV. And my name is Kofi Asante Mensah. Like I was mentioning earlier on, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama has been with the UN General Assembly, and he has been talking and making some profound remarks. And he touted praises for the Ghana cedi, also called that we should do more with the battle of the climate change. And nowadays, sometimes it can be cloudy in parts of Accra, and other parts it will be so dry, and some parts will be raining. So we can, just here in Accra, not to talk of central region and Accra or eastern region and Accra, no, it's just within this Accra enclave. And the climate has really changed, and he's saying we should do more in our battle for the climate changes. We are losing the battle. Let's do more over there. He also called on the UN General Assembly to consider a permanent seat for the African continent, so we can have some veto powers like the other countries, France, US, UK, and Germany, and what have you. They all have been joined. We're built to have Mr. Ibad Ibrahim for deeper analysis on this very subject. But unfortunately, he can't join us today. We will settle down on Wednesday to do more of this, break John Dramani Mahama's speech into pieces. But it was quite amazing when the president for Israel, Netanyahu, took the stage to address the August House, and people walked away. They were clapping and they were walking away. They were just going. It was quite funny. And what an embarrassment. He tried to explain the cause of what is happening on the Gaza stretch of this land and what is happening with the Palestinians. But all the same, John Mahama also called for crimes in Gaza to stop, and some few things, the crisis in Sudan to also stop. He called for the removal of blockades between Cuba and all of that. He called for the reset of the global financial architecture. He says it is against Africa. Yes, he says it's against Africa, so and we should change it after 80 years. Yes, the powers that be that makes the global financial architecture should be changing it. Okay. He also indicated that the global north emits 75% more greenhouse gases than the global south. We here at the global south emit very, very less. So the pressure that comes with it, we bury them more because they up there at the Western world have a lot of machines and gadgets to do away. And they emit a lot more, 75%. We cannot normalize criminality, hatred, xenophobia, and racism. These are words of John Dramani Mahama. And I've been asking, who is the architect of John Dramani Mahama's statement? Because the statement was very, very powerful. He spoke also about slave trade and reasons why some reparations would have to happen, and some, if you like, payments and what have you would have to happen. He also said the future is Africa, and he even made mention of saying it a little more louder for those at the back to hear it and hear it well. The future is Africa. So the youth of Africa, let's rise and make it happen. It's not none other reason that our first president, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, profoundly said the independence of Ghana is meaningless unless it is linked up with the total liberation of the African continent. He made it clear that they should leave us. Let us be economically and physically independent. Let Africans make mistakes, and let's create our own African personalities so we will be respected across board wherever you go. You don't say, look at that black man or look at that African, the poor African, showing pictures of poverty and what have you in Africa. That's not good. So Africa must exercise sovereignty over its natural resources. These are words of John Dramani Mahama, speaking boldly like Kwame Nkrumah or some great African leaders who have passed on. We are tired of huge foreign cultural natural resources concession areas. John Dramani Mahama sounding the bells of Africans being tired of what the Western world is doing to us. We would have time to dissect more into what John Dramani Mahama said. I would love you to listen to or watch what happened relating to the Israel's president and Netanyahu when he mounted the podium to speak, and everybody, delegation or delegates at the assembly started clapping and started to walk away. Well, let's watch this.
Please, order in the hall. 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 Please order in the hall and please be seated.
So you see, they were still asking that there should be order,
Please.
but people were not hearing. Quite intriguing, amazing over there at the UN General Assembly, the 80th anniversary. And those are some few things. I think several African speakers also spoke, but we would have time to deal with all of them one after the other here on Pulse of the Week. Right, just a breather. When I return, we'll be wrapping up the show for today, Friday, 26th of September, 2025. And, you know, I've been advocating for you to always go on YouTube and all digital platforms and go and search for Ziba. All right? Such a beautiful voice singing gospel praises and gospel worship and lifting up the kingdom of God. Please enjoy this one from Ziba. And when I return, we'll be wrapping up the show for you here on Pulse of the Week. Please stay.
Oh, no beginning. Get used to it. I have stepped into my new beginning. Yesterday is gone. Yesterday of darkness is gone. Oh, new beginning. Yeah, 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 yeah. Get used to it. I've stepped into my new level. See me watching me flying on eagle's wing. A whole new beginning. A new beginning.
All right, so welcome back. It's the Pulse of the Week here on NSG News, and this is how we wrap up for today, 26th of September 2025. It's a Friday evening. Thank you very much for being there for us. www.nsgnews.com. Please, our Facebook channel is NSG News TV. Always like our page. Share it with your friends. Put it on your status and let your friends know that we are here to stay. Thank you very much. And we have been here to serve you relating to major stories happening in our country this week, which has to do with, one, the Ghana Law Society trying to break the front of the Ghana Bar Association. They paid a courtesy call to the nominee of Chief Justice, or the Chief Justice nominee. What's his name? His name will come. That is Bafo Boni. Yes, Bafo Boni. They paid a courtesy call to him. But don't forget, they are also in court, at the Supreme Court, trying to find understanding as to the constitutional provision that set up the GBA, the Ghana Bar Association. They say, as it is now, what the Constitution says we should have as Ghana Bar Association, it is not that which is there. So they want some few understanding or meanings to it. And Martin Kpebu, I know, he's been talking about it. 3 reasons I support Bafo Boni's nomination as Chief Justice. Martin Kpebu also supports it so much. And we brought you news about it. Only John Mahama can determine who becomes NDC's flag bearer. We also brought you stories about Mustafa Gbande, indicating that John Dramani Mahama would not be contesting. Nonetheless, he would be taking, he will matter in the decision making of that very decision of flag bearership for the NDC. My name is Kofi Asante Mensah, and that's how we draw the curtains down for this week. God willing, we'll be here to do it all over again on Wednesday. Please stay, and wishing you all the best and a happy weekend. God be with you.